Steve Harvey froze after a contestant revealed her dying wish on live TV. In that heart-stopping moment, Sarah shared a truth that would resonate far beyond the stage, captivating the audience and viewers alike. What unfolds next is not just a game show moment. It's a poignant story of hope, resilience, and the extraordinary power of a single wish that can change everything. Join us as we explore the emotional journey that began with a mother's love and a dream against all odds. In a vibrant studio filled with laughter and anticipation, the lights shone brightly, illuminating the excited faces of contestants and audience members alike. The atmosphere buzzed with energy, a palpable excitement that seemed to electrify the air as contestants prepared for their moment in the spotlight. Among them stood Sarah, a radiant woman with an infectious smile that lit up the room. Yet, hidden beneath her cheerful exterior was a heavy burden she carried alone, a weight that pressed down on her heart and soul. As the upbeat music played in the background, she felt a strange mix of exhilaration and dread coursing through her veins. This was a game show, yes, but for Sarah, it was so much more than that. It was a chance to share a deeply personal story that had remained locked away for far too long. With each question posed by the charismatic host, Steve Harvey, Sarah felt the pressure mounting. Her hands trembled slightly as she answered, each correct response fueling her determination and igniting a flicker of hope within her. She was doing well, but as the game progressed, a nagging worry loomed in the back of her mind. Would she find the courage to share her dying wish? The stakes felt higher than a mere game show. This was about her life and the family she cherished more than anything else. The laughter and cheers of the audience faded into the background as her thoughts spiraled into uncertainty. What if they didn't understand? What if her wish fell flat in the face of the bright lights and the cheering crowd? As the final question approached, Sarah could feel her heart racing, each beat echoing in her ears like a distant drum roll. This was the moment she had been waiting for, yet it felt terrifyingly close. She took a deep breath, trying to steady herself and gather her thoughts. Her heart pounded as she prepared to reveal her truth to the world. This was her chance to speak her wish into existence, to let everyone know what truly mattered to her. In that pivotal instant, the atmosphere in the studio shifted. The air thickened with anticipation, transforming the room from a lively game show set into a sacred space for sharing vulnerabilities. This was no longer just about winning a prize. It was about love, hope, and the unbreakable bond between a mother and her child. Little did they know, this revelation would set off a chain of events that would change lives forever. As Sarah looked around at the faces of the audience, she felt a surge of confidence mixed with fear. Could one single wish really have the power to inspire hope in others? Could it spark a connection that transcended the boundaries of the game show? In that moment, Sarah understood that her story was not just her own. It was a universal tale of longing and resilience, one that could resonate with anyone who had ever dared to dream. As the final question faded into the air, a hush fell over the audience, amplifying the weight of Sarah's impending revelation. The studio lights seemed to dim slightly, focusing all attention on her. She could feel the eyes of the audience on her, a sea of expectant faces waiting for her next move. For a brief moment, time stood still, and all the noise around her faded away. In that silence, Sarah gathered her thoughts, her heart pounding louder than ever, each beat reminding her of the urgency of her message. This is it, she thought, taking a deep breath as she glanced at Steve, who wore an encouraging smile that seemed to reassure her. Just be honest. She had spent countless nights rehearsing this moment, envisioning how she would share her story and the wish that weighed heavily on her heart. But now, standing on that stage, with the cameras rolling and millions watching, the reality felt much more daunting than she had ever imagined. "Steve," she began, her voice trembling slightly. But as she continued, she felt a surge of strength. "There's something I need to share. Something that goes beyond winning a game." The audience leaned in closer, intrigued by the shift in her tone. She could feel their collective breath hitch in anticipation. "I came here today not just to play a game, but to fulfill a wish that stems from a deep place within me, a wish that I hope will resonate with everyone here." Sarah paused for a moment, allowing her words to sink in. The memories flooded back to her. Moments of joy with her children, laughter shared over family dinners, and the bittersweet reality of her life as she navigated the challenges of her illness. "A year ago, I was diagnosed with a terminal illness," she continued, her voice steady despite the emotional weight of her confession. "The doctors have given me limited time, and I have been grappling with what that means for me and my family." She took a deep breath, feeling the weight of her truth pressing down on her. "But what I truly wish for is to create lasting memories with my family before it's too late." As she spoke, her heart raced, and she could feel tears pricking at the corners of her eyes. The audience was silent now, hanging on her every word. "I want to take my children on a trip they will never forget, to show them the world, and to give them experiences that will last a lifetime." She could see the faces of the audience, many of whom were visibly moved, their expressions shifting from excitement to empathy. They were no longer just spectators. They were witnesses to her journey, her vulnerability, and her hope. "I want to teach them about the beauty of different cultures, the joy of adventure, and the importance of cherishing every moment we have together." She continued, her voice gaining strength. "I want to fill their hearts with memories that will sustain them and remind them of my love, even when I'm no longer here." As she shared her heartfelt wish, she glanced at the audience again, her heart swelling with emotion. The applause began as whispers of support and understanding rippled through the crowd. Steve, visibly touched by her sincerity, nodded in understanding. "That's a beautiful wish, Sarah," he said softly, his demeanor shifting from game show host to empathetic listener. "And we're here to help you make that wish come true." His words hung in the air, and with them came a wave of hope that washed over Sarah. The audience erupted in applause, their support enveloping her like a warm embrace, a collective affirmation of her courage to share her story. Tears streamed down her cheeks as relief washed over her. She had finally spoken her truth. The game show had become a platform for her message, a beacon of hope and love shining brightly in an uncertain world. In that moment, Sarah realized that her vulnerability had created a connection that far surpassed the confines of a competition. It was about human spirit, resilience, and the power of love. "Whatever happens next, I'm grateful for this moment," she thought as she wiped her tears, feeling a sense of peace settle over her. The applause grew louder, an affirmation of her courage and the depth of her wish. "This is just the beginning," she promised herself, her heart full of hope as she prepared to embrace whatever came next. She knew this journey would not just be about the destination, but about the love that would guide her family through their challenges. With renewed determination, Sarah looked out at the audience, ready to share her dream of adventure and the legacy of love she hoped to leave behind. As the applause began to fade, Sarah felt a rush of warmth enveloping her. It was a mixture of relief and excitement, a promise of what was to come. She had stepped into the spotlight not merely as a contestant on a game show, but as a beacon of hope and inspiration. The moment she had shared her wish, she sensed that the audience had become a part of her journey. With a newfound sense of purpose, she looked at Steve, who was ready to guide her through the next steps of this unexpected adventure. "Sarah," Steve said, his voice resonating with sincerity, "your story has touched so many people today. Let's talk about how we can make your wish a reality." The energy in the studio shifted, igniting a wave of enthusiasm among the production team and the audience. Sarah could hardly believe that this was happening. She had come to play a game, but now it felt like she was embarking on a life-changing journey filled with possibilities. "We're going to help you plan the trip of a lifetime," Steve continued, his eyes sparkling with excitement. "Where do you want to go? What experiences do you want to create with your children?" Sarah's mind raced as she envisioned all the places she had longed to visit, the sights she wanted her children to see. She could picture them standing in front of the Eiffel Tower, marveling at the beauty of Paris, or exploring the Great Wall of China, feeling the weight of history beneath their feet. The thought ignited a fire in her heart, a longing to share the world with them. "I've always dreamed of taking them to Europe," Sarah said, her voice gaining strength with each word. "I want to show them the art, the culture, and the history that comes alive in cities like Rome, Barcelona, and Florence. I want them to experience the world in a way that opens their hearts and minds to the beauty that exists beyond their own backyard." As she spoke, the audience erupted in cheers, their enthusiasm feeding her determination. Each cheer felt like a warm embrace, lifting her spirit higher. But it wasn't just about the destinations. It was about the moments they would create together. "I want to share meals at local restaurants, laugh over stories in hidden cafes, and explore the vibrant streets hand in hand," she continued, her heart swelling with emotion. "I want them to understand the beauty of connection, not just with each other, but with people all around the world. I want them to see that there's so much more to life than what we know here at home." Her words painted vivid pictures in the minds of the audience, who could almost taste the rich pastries of Paris and feel the warm sun of Tuscany on their skin. Sarah could see her children's faces lighting up with joy and wonder as they experienced the world through new eyes. With each detail she shared, the vision of their adventure grew clearer, a tapestry woven from dreams and aspirations. "That sounds incredible," Steve replied, his enthusiasm infectious. "We can work with our travel partners to plan an itinerary that captures all of that. You'll have the chance to create memories that will last a lifetime." Sarah could hardly contain her excitement. This was no longer just a wish. It was becoming a plan, a real opportunity to live out her dream, to embrace life fully despite the uncertainties that lay ahead. As the details began to unfold, the production team sprang into action, brainstorming ideas and logistics. They discussed flights, accommodations, and activities, each planning session filled with laughter and camaraderie. Sarah felt a sense of community forming around her. The studio audience and the crew united in their desire to help her fulfill her wish. It was a whirlwind of activity, and she reveled in every moment, each detail bringing her closer to the adventure of a lifetime. With each passing day, the reality of the trip began to sink in. Every morning, Sarah found herself continuously daydreaming about what they would do, where they would go, and how they would feel experiencing these new places together. She could already imagine the laughter echoing through the streets of Paris as they tried pastries for the first time, their faces lighting up with delight at the flavors exploding in their mouths. She envisioned her children running through the gardens of Versailles, their laughter mingling with the gentle rustle of leaves in the wind, creating memories that would be etched in their hearts forever. However, amidst the excitement, a shadow of reality lingered. Sarah's illness was a constant reminder that time was precious, and she knew they needed to leave soon. She had moments of doubt, wondering if she would have the strength to keep up with the adventures that awaited them. The thought weighed heavily on her heart, but each time she felt that fear creeping in, she would look at the faces of her children and remember the purpose behind this journey. It was about love, connection, and creating memories that would sustain them long after she was gone. Finally, the day arrived when they would embark on their adventure. As Sarah packed her bags, she felt a mix of emotions: excitement, gratitude, and a hint of anxiety. She gathered her children close, their youthful energy a stark contrast to her own frailness. "Are you ready for the adventure of a lifetime?" she asked, her voice filled with warmth and encouragement. They nodded enthusiastically, their eyes sparkling with anticipation, reflecting the thrill of the unknown that awaited them. As they boarded the plane, Sarah took a moment to reflect. This trip was not just about travel. It was a celebration of life, a chance to embrace every moment, and to fill her children's hearts with love and joy. She knew that no matter what lay ahead, they would face it together, an unbreakable bond woven through shared experiences and cherished memories. The plane taxied down the runway, and as it lifted off the ground, Sarah felt the weight of her fears begin to dissipate, replaced by a sense of hope and excitement. And as the plane soared into the sky, leaving behind the familiar and venturing into the unknown, Sarah felt an overwhelming sense of possibility. This was the beginning of something beautiful. A journey defined not by the constraints of her illness, but by the love that would carry them through every challenge they faced. With her children by her side, she was ready to embrace the world, to explore the wonders and the beauty that lay ahead. As the clouds parted and they ascended higher, Sarah glanced out the window, watching the landscape below transform into a patchwork of fields and rivers. A reminder of how vast and beautiful the world truly was. In that moment, she whispered a silent prayer of gratitude for the opportunity to share this journey with her children, knowing that each experience would weave a thread into the fabric of their lives. With her heart filled with hope and love, she settled into her seat, ready to embrace whatever adventures awaited. The plane touched down in Paris, and Sarah's heart raced with anticipation as the wheels hit the tarmac. The moment they stepped off the aircraft, the cool, crisp air wrapped around them like a refreshing embrace, invigorating her spirit. The grandiosity of Charles de Gaulle Airport was just the beginning of their adventure. The real magic awaited them outside. With her children by her side, she felt a blend of excitement and a touch of nervousness. This was their first step into a world she had always dreamed of sharing with them. "Look, Mama, the Eiffel Tower!" her youngest son Liam exclaimed, tugging at her hand with an urgency that mirrored the thrill in his voice. Sarah followed his gaze, and there it was. The iconic silhouette piercing the sky, majestic and shimmering against the backdrop of the Parisian skyline. It was more than a landmark. It was a symbol of their adventure, a place where memories would be forged, a dream that was now becoming a reality. "Yes, sweetheart. We're going to see it up close," Sarah replied, her heart swelling with joy. She could hardly believe they were finally here, in the City of Light. The thought of exploring this vibrant metropolis with her children filled her with an energy that pushed aside any lingering worries about her health. This was a moment she had envisioned countless times, and now it was unfolding before her very eyes. As they stepped out of the airport and into a taxi, the bustling streets of Paris came alive before them. The aroma of fresh pastries wafted through the air, mingling with the distant sounds of laughter and conversation. The taxi ride was filled with awe as they passed famous landmarks: the Arc de Triomphe, the Seine River, and quaint cafes that dotted the sidewalks. Sarah watched her children's faces light up with every new sight, their eyes wide with wonder and excitement. Each sight was a new adventure, each moment a step further into the enchanting world of Paris. After checking into their hotel, a charming little place nestled in the heart of Montmartre, they quickly dropped off their bags and headed out to explore. The cobblestone streets were bustling with activity, artists painting on the sidewalks, and the sounds of street musicians playing lively tunes filled the air. It was a scene straight out of a postcard, and Sarah couldn't help but feel a wave of gratitude wash over her. She took a moment to breathe it all in, knowing how special this experience was for her family. "Let's grab some food first," she suggested, leading her children toward a nearby cafe. They settled at a small table outside, where the sun bathed them in warmth. As they perused the menu, Sarah felt a sense of normalcy returning, the joys of motherhood intertwining with the thrill of exploration. The children giggled over the unfamiliar French words, attempting to pronounce them while pointing to items that caught their eye. When the waiter arrived, Sarah ordered croissants, crepes, and hot chocolate for the kids, knowing how much they loved trying new treats. The moment the freshly baked pastries were placed on the table, the children dove in with enthusiasm, their eyes sparkling with delight as they savored the flaky, buttery goodness. Each bite was a celebration, a reminder that they were not just traveling. They were creating memories that would last a lifetime. Sarah watched in delight as they relished every mouthful, their laughter mingling with the sounds of the bustling cafe around them. As they enjoyed their meal, Sarah took a moment to soak in the atmosphere. The laughter of nearby diners, the clinking of glasses, and the distant sound of a street performer playing a lively accordion tune. It felt so alive, so vibrant, and she hoped her children were absorbing every ounce of it. She wanted them to remember this feeling, this joy of being together, exploring the world beyond their own backyard. The warmth of the sun and the sweetness of the pastries seemed to merge into a perfect moment, one she wished could last forever. After their meal, they made their way to the Eiffel Tower. As they approached, the structure loomed larger and more magnificent than any of them had imagined. Sarah felt her heart flutter with excitement. She was about to share a moment she had always dreamed of with her children. They joined the line, the anticipation building with every step closer to the entrance. Sarah could hear the whispers of excitement from other tourists around them, each one equally eager to experience the iconic landmark. When they finally reached the base of the tower, the view was breathtaking. The intricate ironwork spiraled upward, and Sarah could hardly contain her excitement as they began their ascent. They took the elevator to the second level, where they stepped out into the open air. The panoramic view of Paris sprawled out before them, a sea of rooftops and greenery, punctuated by the shimmering Seine River winding through the city. Sarah felt a surge of pride and joy as she watched her children gaze in awe at the sprawling metropolis before them. "Wow, Mama, look at all the buildings," Liam exclaimed, his face alight with wonder. Sarah smiled, taking a moment to capture the scene in her mind, knowing this was a moment they would all cherish. She pulled her children close, wrapping her arms around them as they gazed out at the city below, feeling a surge of love and pride. It was a tableau of a life. The busy streets, the boats gliding along the river, and the picturesque bridges connecting the banks. "This is incredible," her daughter Emma said, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "I can't believe we're really here." Sarah felt a lump in her throat, the weight of her emotions threatening to spill over. This was what she had wished for. A chance to share the beauty of the world with her children. To create memories that would linger long after she could no longer be there to guide them. The children pointed out various landmarks, each one a testament to the rich history and culture of the city. They spent the afternoon exploring the tower, taking pictures and laughing as they posed for silly snapshots. Sarah encouraged them to be adventurous, to embrace the experience fully. "Let's make a promise," she said, "to always seek out adventure, no matter where we are in life." The children nodded eagerly, their excitement palpable as they discussed all the places they wanted to explore next. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the city, Sarah suggested they head to the riverbank for a picnic dinner. They picked up some baguettes, cheese, and fruit from a nearby market and found a cozy spot along the Seine. The atmosphere was magical, with street lamps flickering to life and the sound of laughter echoing around them. As they sat together, enjoying their meal, Sarah felt a profound sense of peace wash over her. With the Eiffel Tower sparkling in the distance, she looked at her children, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of the sunset. In that moment, she knew that this trip was not only a wish fulfilled, but a testament to the love that bound them together. They talked, shared stories, and laughed until their bellies hurt, each moment woven into the fabric of their adventure. They reminisced about their journey so far, the excitement of arriving in Paris, and the dreams they had for the days ahead. As darkness enveloped Paris, Sarah took a deep breath, inhaling the sweet scent of the city. She felt alive, grateful for the opportunity to experience this with her children. She realized that, while she may not know what the future held, they had created a beautiful memory together, one that would shine brightly in their hearts for years to come. The stars began to twinkle overhead, mirroring the lights of the city, and Sarah felt a sense of belonging, of being exactly where she was meant to be. With the last bites of their picnic consumed, they made their way back to their hotel, each step filled with laughter and excitement. They recounted their favorite moments from the day, the things that had surprised them, and the sights they were most eager to see. As they climbed into bed that night, Sarah tucked her children in, whispering, "Tomorrow, we'll explore more of this beautiful city. There's so much to see and do." They drifted off to sleep, dreams of Paris dancing in their minds. And Sarah smiled, knowing that this was just the beginning of their grand adventure. As she lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, Sarah reflected on her life and the journey that had led her to this moment. She thought about the challenges she had faced, the fears that had almost held her back, and the unwavering love she felt for her children. She made a silent vow to cherish every moment of their trip, to embrace the present, and to fill her children's hearts with love and joy. With a heart full of hope, she drifted off to sleep, dreaming of the adventures that awaited them in the days to come. The night before what was supposed to be a joyous celebration, Sarah sat on the edge of her bed, the glow of the bedside lamp illuminating the anxious lines etched on her face. She had just returned from a doctor's appointment that had left her reeling with fear and uncertainty. The words of her physician echoed in her mind like a haunting melody that she couldn't shake off. Her condition had worsened. The once bright and hopeful outlook she had maintained now felt fragile, like a delicate glass figurine on the brink of shattering. What does this mean for graduation? She whispered to herself, her voice barely audible over the silence of the dimly lit room. The weight of despair pressed heavily on her chest, a relentless reminder of the time slipping away like sand through her fingers. She had fought so hard to hold on to hope, to believe in a future where she would be there to witness her daughter's accomplishments. But now, faced with this grim news, her heart sank like a stone dropped into the depths of a dark ocean. The thought of missing Emma's graduation felt like a dagger to her soul, an event that was meant to be a celebration of achievement, a moment of pride that she might never experience. Her daughter, Emma, was blissfully unaware of the turmoil brewing within her mother. Sarah could hear her laughter drifting from the living room, where Emma was rehearsing her graduation speech. The sound, usually a source of comfort, now felt like a bittersweet reminder of the precious time they might lose. Sarah closed her eyes, allowing tears to slip silently down her cheeks as she thought of how much she wanted to be there, to see Emma walk across the stage, to embrace her after she received her diploma. It was a moment Sarah had envisioned countless times, a culmination of all the love, sacrifices, and hard work they had shared. In that moment of quiet despair, Sarah felt her phone vibrate beside her, breaking her train of thought. It was a text from one of her friends, filled with encouragement and excitement for the big day. "Emma is going to rock that stage, and you'll be right there cheering her on." The words were meant to uplift, to instill hope, but they only deepened Sarah's heartache. How could she cheer her daughter on if she wasn't there? Anxiety spiraled within her, each thought becoming a heavier burden to bear. The fear of leaving her daughter without a mother loomed large, and the gravity of her illness felt more real than ever. Hours passed, and the night wore on. But sleep eluded Sarah. Instead, she found herself pacing the small confines of her room, her mind racing with a cacophony of thoughts. She envisioned the ceremony, the cheers of the crowd, the sight of graduates in their caps and gowns, and Emma's bright smile as she accepted her diploma. The image was so vivid, so real, that it fueled her determination. "I can't let this illness win," she whispered fiercely to herself. "I will fight for this moment." With newfound resolve, Sarah grabbed her journal from the bedside table and began to write, channeling her emotions onto the pages. She poured her heart into the journal, documenting her thoughts, fears, and hopes. Each word was a declaration of her commitment to be present for Emma, to defy the odds stacked against her. She wrote about her love for her daughter, about the dreams they had shared, and about the memories they were still going to create together. It was a promise to herself and to Emma, a promise that she would not give up without a fight, no matter how daunting the challenge seemed. As dawn broke, casting a soft light into her room, Sarah felt a flicker of hope igniting within her. The sun's rays seemed to carry a message of resilience, urging her to keep pushing forward. "I will make it to that graduation," she vowed, her heart pounding with determination. She began to prepare herself for the day ahead, knowing that every moment would count. She dressed carefully, choosing an outfit that made her feel strong and beautiful. An outfit that would reflect the love she held for her daughter and her fierce determination to be present. In the hours that followed, Sarah's strength began to waver as she navigated the challenges of her illness. Each step felt heavier than the last, and each breath was a reminder of the fragility of life. But she refused to let despair take hold. She was fueled by a fierce love for Emma and a determination to witness her daughter's triumph. As she made her way to the ceremony, every ounce of her being was focused on one goal: to be there for her daughter. However, as she arrived at the venue, a wave of nausea washed over her, and she felt dizziness creep in, threatening to pull her under. The crowd was bustling with families and friends, all gathered to celebrate this monumental day. But amidst the excitement, Sarah felt her body betraying her. Fear clawed at her heart. What if she couldn't make it? What if she had fought for nothing? But as she watched families embrace and children laugh, the weight of the moment pushed her forward. She took a deep breath, grounding herself in the love she felt for Emma. Finally, as she approached the entrance, a familiar voice called out to her. It was Steve Harvey, who had become a champion of her story since the game show. "Sarah, you made it," he exclaimed, his face lighting up with genuine joy. "We've all been rooting for you." The warmth of his words wrapped around her like a comforting blanket. It reminded her that she wasn't alone. She had a community supporting her, cheering her on through the storm. Steve's presence provided a momentary reprieve from her fears, and she felt a surge of gratitude wash over her. With Steve's encouragement, Sarah felt a renewed sense of purpose. "I'm here for my daughter," she said, her voice steady despite the whirlwind of emotions inside her. "I won't let anything stop me from being there for her." Steve smiled, and in that moment, she felt a renewed sense of strength. With each step toward the auditorium, she could hear the crowd's anticipation building, a chorus of hope that echoed her own desires. As the ceremony began, Sarah took a seat near the front, her heart pounding with a mix of excitement and anxiety. The graduates filed in, each wearing their caps and gowns, their faces glowing with pride. Sarah's eyes searched the crowd for Emma, her heart racing as she spotted her daughter walking in, her gown flowing elegantly behind her. Emma's eyes sparkled with joy, and for a moment, everything else faded away. This was the moment Sarah had fought for, the culmination of years of love, sacrifice, and unwavering support. Then, as the ceremony unfolded, Sarah felt a wave of emotion wash over her. Each speech, each performance, was a reminder of the significance of this day. She clutched her phone tightly, ready to capture every moment, to document the day she had almost missed. As the principal began to announce the names of the graduates, Sarah held her breath, the tension in the air palpable. With each name called, she felt both pride and fear, praying that her daughter's name would be next. And then the moment arrived. Emma's name echoed through the auditorium, and the crowd erupted in applause. Sarah's heart soared as she watched her daughter walk across the stage, the very embodiment of determination and grace. In that instant, all the pain, all the uncertainty vanished. Emma accepted her diploma with poise, her smile radiant. Sarah felt tears streaming down her cheeks, a mix of joy and relief flooding her heart. This was everything she had fought for, a moment of love and triumph that would forever be etched in their hearts. But just when hope seemed to be at its peak, Sarah felt a wave of dizziness wash over her, threatening to pull her under. She knew she had to stay present, to witness this milestone, to embrace her daughter with all the love she had to give. With the last ounce of her strength, she rose to her feet, determined to make her presence known. It was a moment of defiance against her illness, a testament to the power of a mother's love and resilience. As Emma walked off the stage, diploma in hand, her eyes scanned the crowd for her mother. When their gazes finally met, Sarah felt a rush of pride swell within her. Emma's face lit up with recognition, and she quickly made her way through the throng of graduates. The crowd parted for Emma as she rushed towards Sarah, their embrace enveloping them in a cocoon of love and warmth. It was a moment that transcended words, a moment that spoke of sacrifices made and dreams shared. "I knew you'd be here, Mom," Emma breathed, her voice a mixture of disbelief and joy. Sarah pulled her daughter close, the scent of her hair, sweet and familiar, filling her with a sense of home. "I wouldn't miss it for the world," she replied, her voice steady, yet laced with emotion. "You are my greatest achievement, and today is all about you." As they stood together, the world around them faded into a blur. The applause of the audience, the bright lights of the stage, and the celebratory atmosphere became mere background noise. In that moment, all that mattered was the bond between them, a bond strengthened by trials, love, and unwavering support. Sarah could feel the warmth of her daughter's joy radiating in her arms, a lifeline that reminded her of the beauty of this life, no matter how fleeting. The day of the graduation finally arrived, and the air was thick with excitement and anticipation. As the sun rose high in the sky, bathing the world in a golden glow, Sarah felt a mix of emotions swirling within her: joy, pride, and a hint of anxiety. This was the moment she had fought so hard to witness. Yet the uncertainty of her health loomed over her like a dark cloud, threatening to overshadow the day's festivities. Sarah woke early, her heart racing as she prepared for the monumental occasion. She felt a rush of adrenaline coursing through her veins, propelling her to move with purpose. Today was not just another day. It was a culmination of dreams, hard work, and unyielding love. She carefully selected her outfit, a vibrant dress that made her feel both beautiful and strong, a symbol of her determination to be present for her daughter. As she stood before the mirror, she took a moment to breathe deeply, grounding herself in the reality of the day. "Today is about Emma," she reminded herself, a mantra that fueled her resolve and steadied her nerves. After a quick breakfast, which Emma had prepared with her own 2 hands, Sarah felt a wave of warmth wash over her. The breakfast table was filled with the delightful smell of pancakes and fresh fruit, and Sarah couldn't help but smile as she watched her daughter bustling around with a sense of purpose. Emma's excitement was infectious, her laughter echoing through the kitchen as she set out plates and poured glasses of juice. "I want everything to be perfect for you, Mom. This is our day," she declared, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. Seeing Emma so filled with joy made Sarah's heart swell with pride, but it also stirred the bittersweet emotions within her. This was a moment she had longed for, a moment that could slip away in the blink of an eye. The car ride to the graduation venue was filled with chatter about the day ahead, Emma's plans, her friends, and the future that awaited her. But as they drove through the streets, Sarah felt a tightening in her chest, a reminder of the fragility of the day. The vibrant colors of the flowers lining the streets, the laughter of children playing in the parks, and the bright blue sky all seemed to contrast with the heaviness in her heart. What if she couldn't make it through the ceremony? What if her body failed her at the worst possible moment? As they arrived at the grand auditorium, Sarah's breath caught in her throat at the sight of the graduates lined up, their caps and gowns a sea of black and gold. The room was filled to capacity, friends and family eagerly awaiting the ceremony to begin. The buzz of excitement was palpable, a vibrant tapestry of pride and celebration that made Sarah's heart flutter with both joy and anxiety. She found her seat near the front, a perfect vantage point to capture every moment, every smile, and every cheer. Her heart swelled with pride as she spotted Emma among the graduates, her daughter looking radiant, beaming with excitement and anticipation. The sight of her filled Sarah with warmth, a reminder of the strength and resilience they had both shown throughout their journey. As the ceremony commenced, Sarah listened intently to the speeches, each one a tribute to the hard work and dedication of the graduates. The principal spoke passionately about resilience, determination, and the power of dreams. Sarah felt tears prick at the corners of her eyes, overwhelmed by the significance of the day. She thought of all the struggles they had faced, how far they had come together, and how this moment was a testament to their unbreakable bond. Each word resonated deeply within her, and she couldn't help but reflect on the countless nights spent encouraging Emma, nurturing her dreams, and instilling in her the belief that she could achieve anything she set her mind to. But as the ceremony progressed, Sarah's strength began to wane. The excitement and nervousness of the day took a toll on her body, and she could feel fatigue creeping in. Each moment felt like a precious gift, and she clung to her resolve to stay present, to witness Emma's achievement no matter the cost. She squeezed her daughter's photo tightly in her hand, the image a constant reminder of why she was fighting so hard. Her mind raced with memories of late-night study sessions, of Emma's laughter echoing through the house, and of the dreams they had shared, dreams that now hung in the balance. The names of the graduates began to be called, each one met with cheers and applause from proud family members. Sarah's heart raced with each announcement, her eyes fixed on the stage, longing for the moment when Emma's name would be declared. The anticipation was palpable. The clock ticked slowly, each minute stretching into eternity. Would she be able to hold on? Would she make it? The thought of missing this milestone felt like a weight pressing down on her chest, a fear she struggled to push aside. And then, finally, the moment arrived. "Emma Johnson," the principal announced, and the crowd erupted into a thunderous applause that echoed throughout the auditorium. Sarah felt her heart leap as she watched her daughter step forward, a bright smile illuminating her face. Emma walked with grace and confidence, each step echoing the determination that had brought her to this moment. It was a sight that filled Sarah with indescribable joy, a culmination of dreams and hard work that they both had poured their hearts into. Emma accepted her diploma, her expression a mix of pride and disbelief. Sarah's heart swelled with love as she cheered for her daughter, her voice rising above the crowd, a beacon of support in a sea of family and friends. In that moment, all the pain, all the uncertainty faded away, replaced by pure, unadulterated happiness. This was the moment Sarah had fought for, a moment filled with love, triumph, and the fulfillment of a mother's wish. But just as the ceremony reached its emotional peak, Sarah felt a wave of dizziness wash over her, threatening to pull her under. The world around her began to blur, the sounds of applause fading into the background as her vision wavered. Panic surged within her as she struggled to maintain her composure. She had come so far. She couldn't let this moment slip away. With every ounce of her strength, she focused on Emma, her daughter's bright smile anchoring her to reality, reminding her of the importance of this day. As Emma walked off the stage, diploma in hand, her eyes scanned the crowd for her mother. When their gazes finally met, Sarah felt a rush of warmth envelop her, igniting a fire within her soul. Emma's face lit up with recognition, and she quickly made her way through the throng of graduates and their families. The crowd parted, and Sarah's heart raced as her daughter approached, their bond stronger than ever. "Mom, you made it!" Emma exclaimed, her voice filled with disbelief and joy as she rushed into Sarah's embrace. "I knew you would be here." Tears streamed down Sarah's cheeks as she held her daughter tightly. feeling the warmth of Emma's love radiating through her. "Of course, sweetheart. I wouldn't miss this for the world," she replied, her voice trembling with emotion. This was the moment that made every struggle worth it. A moment that transcended words. A moment that spoke of sacrifices made and dreams shared. In the midst of the celebratory chaos, they stood together, enveloped in a cocoon of love and pride. The applause of the audience, the bright lights of the stage, and the jubilant atmosphere became mere background noise. All that mattered was the bond between them, a bond strengthened by trials, love, and unwavering support. Sarah could feel the warmth of her daughter's joy radiating in her arms, reminding her of the beauty of life, no matter how fleeting. She realized that this moment was a gift, a precious memory they would cherish forever. "I'm so proud of you, Emma. You've worked so hard for this," Sarah whispered, her voice choked with emotion. Emma beamed, her eyes sparkling with happiness. "I couldn't have done it without you, Mom. You inspired me to keep going," she replied, her words a balm for Sarah's weary heart. In that moment, surrounded by love and joy, Sarah felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. This was everything she had wished for, a moment of connection that would last a lifetime. As they stood together, basking in the glow of the day, Sarah felt a renewed sense of purpose. She knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, united by the love that had carried them through the darkest times. Graduation was not just a milestone. It was a testament to their journey, a journey filled with hope, courage, and unbreakable bonds. The sun shone brighter than ever, illuminating the path ahead. And in that moment, Sarah felt a surge of optimism for their future. With the sun setting in the background, casting a warm glow over the celebration, Sarah took a deep breath, filling her lungs with a sweet scent of joy and accomplishment. She knew that this day would forever be etched in their hearts, a memory they would cherish for years to come. As families celebrated around them, Sarah and Emma shared a quiet moment, holding hands and exchanging smiles that spoke volumes. They were each other's strength, and together they could face whatever came next. And as Emma laughed and celebrated with her friends, Sarah felt a sense of peace wash over her. No matter what the future held, they had created a beautiful memory together, one that would shine brightly in their hearts for eternity. The days following graduation were a whirlwind of emotions for Sarah and Emma. They had celebrated Emma's monumental achievement with friends and family. Yet beneath the joy lingered an undeniable tension. Sarah could feel the weight of her health pressing down on her, a constant reminder of the battle she was fighting. Each day was a gift, wrapped in the delicate paper of uncertainty, and she was determined to make the most of it, cherishing every moment she had with her daughter. Emma, buoyed by the excitement of her recent accomplishment, was eager to dive headfirst into the next chapter of her life. She had received several offers from universities, each one a testament to her hard work and dedication throughout high school. As they sat together at the kitchen table, bright sunlight streaming through the window and casting warm patterns on the floor, Emma spread out the colorful brochures and acceptance letters, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "Mom, look at this one. It's a fantastic program, and they have a great campus," she exclaimed, her voice filled with hope and excitement as she pointed to a brochure showcasing a picturesque university with sprawling green lawns and modern facilities. Sarah smiled, her heart swelling with pride at her daughter's ambition. It was a moment that filled her with conflicting emotions: pride for Emma's achievements and the realization that each of these choices represented a step toward independence. "That sounds amazing, sweetheart. You've worked so hard for this. I want you to choose the one that feels right for you," she replied, trying to keep her voice steady despite the flutter of anxiety in her chest. The thought of Emma leaving for college was exhilarating, a celebration of her growth. But it also terrified Sarah. It meant that Emma would be stepping into a world filled with opportunities, but also challenges. And Sarah was acutely aware that she might not be there to guide her through every hurdle. Emma's enthusiasm was contagious as she flipped through the brochures, her fingers tracing the colorful images of students engaged in vibrant campus life. "What about this one, Mom? It's known for its strong science program and has amazing research opportunities," she said, her voice bubbling with excitement. Sarah could see the weight of the decision pressing on her daughter's shoulders, and she wanted to ease her mind. "Why don't we make a pros and cons list for each school? Sometimes writing it down can help clarify things," she suggested, hoping to guide Emma through her choices. As they began to brainstorm, Sarah felt a renewed sense of purpose wash over her. This was a moment she cherished, the chance to be involved in Emma's decisions, to help her navigate the path ahead. They laughed as they listed the pros of each university, discussing everything from campus life to academic offerings and even the distance from home. Emma's enthusiasm was infectious, and for a moment, Sarah allowed herself to forget about her own struggles. She focused on the joy reflected in Emma's eyes, the dreams that were beginning to take shape. But as the days turned into weeks, Sarah's health began to fluctuate more dramatically, like the shifting tides of the ocean. There were good days, where she felt strong enough to join Emma for walks in the park, sharing ice creams and laughter. And there were days when simply getting out of bed felt like an insurmountable challenge. The reality of her illness loomed larger than ever, casting a shadow over their plans for the future. Emma noticed the changes in her mother, the way her smile sometimes didn't reach her eyes, and the way she would tire easily. "Mom, are you okay?" she would ask, concern etched on her face, her brows knitting together in worry. "I'm fine, sweetheart. Just a bit tired," Sarah would reply, forcing a smile that she hoped would reassure her daughter. But deep down, she knew that the truth was far more complicated. She wanted to shield Emma from her worries, to let her enjoy this time of transition without the burden of her illness hanging over them both. But the reality was that they were on borrowed time, and Sarah felt the urgency to make every moment count, to create memories that would last a lifetime. One evening, as they sat on the porch watching the sunset paint the sky with hues of orange and pink, Sarah took a deep breath, the cool evening air filling her lungs. She turned to Emma, her heart heavy with the weight of unspoken words. "Emma, I want to talk to you about something important," she began, her voice steady but soft, like a gentle breeze. "I want you to know how proud I am of you, and I believe in you more than anything. You are destined for greatness." Emma looked at her mother, her eyes wide with curiosity and apprehension. "What do you mean, Mom? Of course you believe in me," she replied, a hint of confusion in her tone. "I mean it, sweetheart. I want you to pursue your dreams, even if it means I won't be there every step of the way," Sarah continued, her heart aching at the thought of leaving her daughter behind. "You have so much potential, and I want you to embrace it fully. Promise me that you will live your life to the fullest, no matter what happens." Emma's expression shifted from confusion to concern. "Mom, don't talk like that. You're going to be there. We have so many plans together." "I know, Emma, and I want to be there for you, but I also want you to be prepared for anything, Sarah said gently, her voice barely above a whisper. She reached out to hold her daughter's hands, feeling the warmth and strength radiating from her. You are going to be amazing, and I want you to chase your passions. Don't hold back because of me. Tears filled Emma's eyes as she realized the weight of her mother's words. I don't want to think about a future without you, Mom, she whispered, her voice trembling like a fragile leaf in the wind. I'm not going anywhere just yet, I promise, Sarah reassured her, though uncertainty crept into her own heart, casting a shadow over her resolve. But I need you to know how much I love you and how proud I am of the person you are becoming. Whatever happens, you will always carry a piece of me with you. They sat in silence, the weight of the conversation hanging in the air, like a fragile thread, binding them together in a moment of vulnerability and love. As the summer days stretched on, the bond between Sarah and Emma deepened in ways they had not anticipated. They spent countless hours together, exploring local parks, watching movies, and cooking meals filled with laughter and the aroma of their favorite dishes. Each moment was a treasure, a memory they would tuck away for safekeeping. Emma began to narrow down her college choices, her enthusiasm reignited by her mother's unwavering support. They created a countdown to the college decision day, filling each day with small celebrations like enjoying homemade cupcakes or going for ice cream, and a shared sense of purpose. Yet, amidst the joy, Sarah continued to battle her illness. There were nights when pain would awaken her, robbing her of sleep and leaving her restless and anxious. Mornings came with a heavy fog, and she would stare at the ceiling, summoning the strength to rise, to put on a brave face for Emma. But every time she felt the pull of despair, she would think of Emma, their shared laughter, the dreams they had discussed, and the future that still held so much promise. She was determined to fight, not just for herself, but for Emma. Her daughter's future was worth every ounce of strength she could muster. Then came the day Emma finally made her decision. They sat together at the kitchen table, a fresh fruit salad in front of them. But Sarah could hardly focus on the meal. Emma's hands trembled slightly as she unfolded a letter, her eyes shining with excitement. I did it, Mom. I chose the university, she exclaimed, her voice bubbling with joy. Sarah's heart raced as she leaned closer, her breath caught in her throat. Which one, sweetheart? Tell me. Emma beamed, her smile radiant, lighting up the room. I'm going to university name. They have an incredible program in environmental science, and I can't wait to start this journey. The words spilled out in a rush, and Sarah felt a wave of pride wash over her. Oh, Emma, that's wonderful. I'm so proud of you, she replied, tears of joy brimming in her eyes. They hugged tightly, their embrace filled with the warmth of shared dreams and love. The kind of moment that would forever be etched in their hearts. Yet beneath the surface, Sarah felt a bittersweet pang, knowing that this was the beginning of a new chapter for Emma, one that might not include her in the same way. You're going to do amazing things there. I can already see it, Sarah said, her voice filled with sincerity. Emma pulled back, her eyes sparkling with determination. And I'll make sure to call you every day, Mom. You'll be part of everything. Sarah smiled, her heart swelling with love and pride. I wouldn't have it any other way. Just promise me you'll enjoy every moment. Life is too precious to waste. As they celebrated Emma's decision, Sarah felt a renewed sense of purpose within herself. She knew that while the future was uncertain, the love they shared was unwavering. They had created a bond that transcended the challenges they faced, and she was determined to make the most of every day they had together. With each passing moment, Sarah felt a flicker of hope, a reminder that even in the face of adversity, love had the power to heal and uplift. And so the summer rolled on, filled with laughter, love, and the bittersweet knowledge that life was ever-changing. They made plans for Emma's college send-off, organizing a small gathering of friends and family to celebrate her achievements and the bright future that lay ahead. Sarah poured her heart into the preparations, ensuring that every detail was perfect. They decorated the backyard with colorful banners, balloons fluttering in the gentle breeze, and set up tables filled with delicious food and treats. It was a chance to create lasting memories, a celebration of Emma's journey and the strength of their bond. On the day of the send-off, the sun shone brightly, illuminating the backyard where friends and family gathered. The laughter and joy radiating from the crowd felt like a warm embrace, wrapping around Sarah and Emma as they moved through the festivities. Sarah watched as Emma mingled with her friends, her laughter ringing out like music, filling the air with an infectious energy. She took a moment to soak in the joy, the vibrant energy of the day, and the love that surrounded them. In that moment, she felt a sense of peace wash over her, knowing that this day was not just a goodbye, but a celebration of new beginnings. As the evening drew to a close, Sarah gathered everyone for a toast. She stood before her loved ones, her heart full of gratitude and love. "Thank you all for being here to celebrate Emma," she began, her voice steady yet emotional. "Your support means the world to us. Emma is embarking on an incredible journey, and I have no doubt that she will achieve amazing things. Let's raise our glasses to her future and to the love that binds us all together." The clinking of glasses filled the air, a symphony of hope and celebration. Laughter erupted as friends shared stories and memories, each tale adding to the tapestry of Emma's life that had been woven over the years. With Emma at her side, Sarah felt a renewed sense of purpose. They were embarking on a new chapter together, one filled with love, dreams, and the promise of brighter days ahead. No matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, united by the strength of their bond. And as the sun set on that beautiful summer day, Sarah knew that she would continue to fight, not just for herself, but for the incredible daughter she had raised, a daughter who was ready to take on the world.